Russia said he could fucking drop broads from space, but you're worried about fucking whiteness that doesn't exist. Nobody thinks any of this is whiteness but you. Nobody has any of these nobody thinks any of these intersectional going on except you. And there are fucking gay, white, black, yellow, polka dotted trans people on my side. Only you idiots, you small minority of idiots, think any of this is fucking the way it is. And it just you need to shut the fuck up. I'm just saying. So, in true treasonous fashion, the House of Representatives, well, not all of them because some of them voted no, but everyone that voted yes because this bill passed in the House of Representatives has committed treason and should probably be lined up against the wall and shot after a military tribunal because there is no doubt they committed treason. Their names are on the motherfucking document of treason. But anyway, let's get into this. They passed that stupid fucking gun bill, HR 127, I think it was called. It's the New York Times. House passes gun control bills to strengthen background checks. The legislation has broad support among voters, but is expected. It does not have broad support among voters, but is expected to join a growing list of progressive priorities languishing in the Senate amid Republican opposition. It's like it's like we're not supposed to be voters anymore. Like these people disgust me. Washington. The House approved a pair of bills on Thursday aimed at expanding and strengthening background checks for gun buyers. There's already fucking background checks for gun buyers. As Democrats push past Republican opposition to advance major gun safety measures after decades of congressional inaction. Yeah, that's because it's unconstitutional, you treasonous pieces of trash. And two votes that fell largely along party lines. I mean, we can have a fucking constitutional convention or whatever and come up with a new way if you really want to, but there's a fucking way to do it. And two votes that fell largely along party lines, the House passes legislation that would require background checks for all gun buyers and extend the time the FBI has to vet those flagged by National Instant Check System. Despite being widely popular with voters, the measures face what is expected to be insurmountable opposition. I think we should, before I even continue reading, I think we should bring back gun safety into the fucking elementary schools, high schools, and stuff on up. Start with rubber weapons and whatnot, but teaching kids how to respect firearms, how to not fear them, proper muzzle control, proper safety. We used to do that shit, and high school students had loaded shotguns in their fucking trucks in the parking lot, unlocked trucks in the parking lot outside the school, and nobody got shot because they were going to go hunting after school. It's guns are not the fucking problem. The people are the problem. We have a mental health crisis because you shut down all the damn mental health institutions. And two votes. Despite being widely popular with voters, it's not widely popular with voters. The measures face what is expected to be insurmountable. Yeah, it's widely popular with voters, so it's going to have insurmountable opposition in the Senate, where Republicans have resisted imposing any limits on guns, including stricter background checks and requirements. The House voted 227 to 203. So 227 motherfucking people in the House have committed treason. Checks, and 219 to 210 federal law enforcement. So less people, 227 is the larger number. So 220, because both of these are treasonous. Treason. Yeah. Federal law enforcement, more time to vet. Actually, well, we already have a system in place. This one might not be treason. Having a couple of days to make sure you're not a serial killer is probably not a bad idea. Because we already do back. I'm not against background checks. I'm just against fucking. We gotta do more back. Where we gotta stricter it and make it work. No. Both pieces of we already have fucking 50 different sets of gun rules. We just. Oh my god. Both pieces of legislation are aimed at addressing gap in existing gun laws, including the so-called Charleston loophole, which restricts 3 days to 3 days the period of FBI has to conduct a background check, allowing many buyers to evade them. Nobody's invading a background check when you buy a fucking firearm. Have you actually bought a fucking firearm? I don't fucking think so. The provision allows they don't even give it to you until the FBI says yes, or 3 days have passed. If the FBI can't say no within 3 days, that's on the FBI. The FBI needs to fucking make it fucking better. The provision allowed Dylan Roof, the white supremacist who killed 9 people in 2000 at a historically black church in Charleston, to buy a handgun, even though he should have been barred from doing so. That's on the FBI. The bill would extend the amount of time the FBI has to complete a check for an additional week to 10 days. No, wait a minute. It has to complete a check for an additional week to 10 days. So they had an additional week. They could have said, give us a week, but now we're going to make it 10 days, even though it was 3 days. This makes no sense. The other measures passed on Thursday would require buyers, shoppers for firearms online at the gun shows to have their backgrounds vetted before they could read. They already do that. No federally licensed firearm owner can sell somebody a firearm without a background check. They bring the forms to the goddamn gun shows. They are not currently. Yes, they are. What the? Let's not add more names to the. I can't even read this anymore. That is fucking utter trash. Yes, you have to do a background check when you buy a gun at a motherfucking gun show. Unless you're buying it from a fucking private seller. And even then, in some states, it requires a background check because it requires a fucking federally licensed firearm dealer to make the transfer. And I don't even care about that. Like, that's perfectly reasonable to me. But they bring the... There are plenty of evidences and videos online of people trying to do this to prove that it was easy to get guns, and it's all been debunked. You go to a gun show and you buy a gun from the fucking federally licensed gun dealer, they're gonna have the application and they're gonna call the motherfucking FBI like they do at the fucking store. We have cell phones. I could fucking call you from the gun depot. I could call you as easily from the fucking gun show as I can from my gun shop. You people are idiots. You're absolutely fucking idiots. There's a gun. There is an argument to be had about making gun ownership easier. Safer and whatnot. But you're not having it. You're having the most retarded argument in the world, and nobody's going to listen to you because no reasonable gun owner is ever going to sit down and listen to you because your argument is absolutely asinine. It's filled with lies and misinformation, and you don't even listen to it. If you actually listen to gun owners when they tell you how things actually work, and then you made a plan based off of how things actually work, you might actually get intelligent, reasonable people to sit down to you and think that's okay. Because yes, we probably should make people fucking learn how to use a firearm, not just because it makes people safer and they won't accidentally shoot other people, but that firearm will fucking fail you when you need it the most, and you should probably know how to deal with that. But none of you have the actual intelligent conversations about this. It's all based on emotions. Whether it's no gun rules, blah, 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 or it's like ridiculous gun rules based off of false assumptions. It's both retarded. And we're never going to move forward in life with a compromise, and it's going to result in war if you don't pull your fucking heads out of your asses and unfuck this mess. I'm just fucking saying. All right. Now we get into the final segment of today's podcast. Biden lies in his first public address. So he finally showed up in public and gave that speech that he's been avoiding. And it was not a disaster. And he lied. Let's check out this news article from the New York Post. That's Biden slammed for taking credit for COVID-19 vaccine, not thanking Trump. Only Biden can simultaneously, carry out a plan and deny it exists at the same time, because he denied that Operation Warp Speed was a thing, and now he's taking credit for it. I hate these little advertisements here. But critics are blasting President Biden for taking credit for the COVID-19 vaccine, and they should roll out and failing to thank former President Donald Trump for initiating opposition, which produced the jab within 1 year. In his first primetime address Thursday night, Biden praised the administration for taking a war footing when it comes to combating the virus, ensuring that every American will be eligible for a vaccine starting May 1st, which was what Donald Trump said. He took credit for it. Pundits like Fox News host Sean Hannity took aim at Biden for trying to take credit for everything that Donald Trump did on COVID-19, noting that three vaccines were already in development by the time Biden took office. There were already 1 million vaccines being administered in people's arms every single day when Biden was sworn in. 336 million doses had already been distributed, Hannity said. He continued, Joe, you want unity? Why don't you just thank Donald Trump? You want us all to get along? You say, no Trump, no vaccine, Joe. Stop trying to take credit for something, frankly, you have nothing to do with. Nothing. I agree. You had nothing to do with the fucking vaccine. You should have been like, I'm doing my best to get it out earlier than expected, but I thank the previous administration's efforts for getting this. There's a way to do it. It's called being presidential. Ronald Chair Committee accused Biden of not being straight with Americans, including on vaccines. He is claiming Operation Warp Speed never existed, she tweeted. Senator Bill Hagerty also blasted Biden for his remark. Tonight at POTUS, Biden showed no grace or appreciation for the leadership that led the Operation Warp Speed and the development of a safe and effective vaccine. It's true. Former New York Representative agreed that Trump deserves all the credit. He does. New York Committee says President Biden over and over again, she tweeted, the only reason he can do any of the things he's doing for vaccines and vaccination is Operation Warp Speed. The only president deserving extraordinary credit here is Donald Trump, and that is absolutely correct. Conservative commentator Katie Patrick wrote, Biden taking credit for the vaccine is just absolutely astonishing, but it's not surprising. He said the Democrats, a skeeving, lying, conniving, he took credit for winning the election that he stole anyway. Oh, they stole anyway. On Wednesday, Trump issued a statement saying Americans would have been waiting for years for a vaccine if it weren't for him. True. I hope everyone remembers when they're getting the COVID-19, often referred to it as the China virus vaccine, that if I wasn't president, you wouldn't be getting that beautiful shot for 5 years at best and probably wouldn't be getting it at all, Trump. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't doubt it. The Democrats are far worse than the Republicans, but this whole political system's a mess. The government is falling apart. It's failing to do its job. I feel like we're the patriot up in this, and I'm Mel Gibson's character Benjamin Martin being like, why should I trade one motherfucker 3,000 miles away for 3,000 motherfuckers 1 mile away? And he had a good point, because now we're dealing with those 3,000 motherfuckers 1 mile away. Are we even a republic anymore? Does our voting even matter anymore? Tim Pool was saying that some experts are calling us a plurocracy, some like that. The wealthy has used this COVID-19 bullshit lockdown to transfer the largest transfer of wealth in human history from the hands of the poor and middle class to the rich elite. They took everything from you, and they printed a whole bunch of money, and they're devaluing the amount, they're devaluing your savings, and food and global, prices are skyrocketing. There's going to be an epidemic of malnutrition and starvation around the world, and it's all because of the elite wanting your fucking resources and money. They stole your resources and money, and now they're lying about and taking credit for something that Trump did. This has to end. Lying to the American people while serving in the highest office of the land, lying about that is not classified, should automatically result in impeachment. Biden should be removed from his entire administration should be impeached because they all participated in that. It's time for a new special election, a new president. Because this is utter garbage. Operation, hate Trump, love Trump, hate him, or whatever. Operation Warp Speed, the vaccines by May 1st, all 3 vaccines, whether you fucking think they're going to put microchips in you or not, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer were all part of Operation Warp Speed. They were all Trump. Unfortunately, these companies are probably going to give Biden credit too because they held off releasing the vaccine until he took office. It's a disgrace. It's utterly disgusting. If I was to get vaccine, I'm leaning more towards Johnson & Johnson because it's one shot and it's not that mRNA garbage. But let's be honest, it's a virus, and I'm not taking a vaccine that it's not going to work completely, that I have to take every I don't take the flu virus either, the vaccine either, because the flu mutates, and it's a 50-50 guarantee whether or not the flu vaccine is actually going to help you or not, because of how often the flu mutates. So why the fuck am I going to inject myself with a coronavirus vaccine when the virus is going to mutate? I mean, it is